Containment Episode 6, He's Still the Rising Tumult. This was a pretty cool episode, I think. It was fun getting to see some of the characters in different situations. In particular, we got to see both Katie as well as Quentin outside of the hospital for like the first time in this show. And we have them go to the park. They're looking for Thomas, which does actually come back into play. And that was a surprising storyline. I honestly figured he would just be sick, and during that time I just thought maybe it would just add to some of the people that died. But we find his sister has actually come to the hospital, and so she asks Katie to find her brother, and she mentioned like, oh, our dad is dead, and I started coughing, so I didn't want to get him sick, so I took off because I didn't want him to die. So they go to the park and everything, thanks to Quentin, actually, even though he totally shouldn't have been there, which really surprised me, although I saw a still of that and I just forgot, and I was like, he just says something behind them. I was like, holy crap, he just followed them, from the hospital. And that's a really scary situation. But they get to the baseball park where he was. Then the gang, well, I guess not the gang, but like the crazy people, the tweakers and stuff from the basement, they end up going to the baseball park. And they're just riding around and stuff. Jake shoots one of them and then they take off. And then we lose Quentin for a second, and I was like, did they really kidnap the little kid? Like, why would they even need to? And how would they? Because they were, like, running around in circles. But we find out he just ran off, which is just a dumb thing. Happens all the time in TV. Plus, kids do really dumb stuff all the time. But he actually finds this random person who is sick, which I thought was going to lead to something really bad. But then we see Thomas, and it's like, holy crap, he's totally fine. And then that little drop of sweat gets on. I was like, crap, he's dead again. And he's like, oh, don't worry, I don't get sick. And it kind of blew everything away. So I'm assuming he will actually end up being the cure. Although we'll have to see how that plays out because of the whole day 13 thing. It clearly gets worse before it gets better, if it gets better at all. Because technically, they could just kill everybody inside the cordon and, who knows. But I think it might not play out the way we want it to, because it might be one of those crazy things where it's like the virus is so strong we need to do like some extreme stuff. They'd have to like kill the boy to get the cure or something crazy like that. I don't know. I feel like that might happen, but I don't know. So that was cool though. They brought him back into play, and it wasn't like, oh, he got his father and sister sick and then it just spread and he died. It came back into play where he was actually immune to the virus. So I'm excited. I'm very excited to see kind of what they do with that, because that's just something I had thought. I just assumed they'd find like a normal cure. I didn't think it would actually get to, especially with it being, how they explain the virus, like, oh, it's the first time it's ever been transmitted to humans and stuff. And technically that's how viruses work anyway. Whenever it's something crazy, they're just people who are immune. It's totally random. Like, somewhere in your genes a long time ago, this virus did exist, or something really close to it, and it was strong enough to kind of repel it. So it was cool to see that. I'm excited, like I said, to see exactly how far they push actually having a vaccine and having a cure, which they actually talk about like the difference between a vaccine and a cure. But actually finding a cure as well as a vaccine, one or the other, maybe for possibly both from this young boy. But that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. We of course have Lex and Leo actually teaming up in this episode, because Lex goes to Leo. He's like, look, I want to find the truth. I need to really make things right. And I'm, kind of not really following in line anymore, not too much. So he tries to make things work. And then, of course, he gets the call about the guy inside of the building that's supposed to be demolished. And they have kind of this big debate. And it's kind of sort of, should normal life happen, especially with it being so close? Is like, is there a security risk or a health risk, really, for all these people playing baseball or being inside this baseball stadium, which is only like, this is like 100 feet or something, like a very short distance, outside of the cordon, so it freaked people out. Like, should it happen? Should it not happen? Normal news stuff, just to, have people talk about totally irrelevant things, honestly. But, and I guess in a sense it is relevant, because it's like, people could get sick, you don't really know, but it's kind of like, they know it's through fluid, so unless someone's sneezing like a champion, everybody's fine. But, they have this conversation, Lex and this guy, and he talks about his daughter and stuff, and how she'd always walk out to the balcony, but he hadn't seen her in the past 2 days, so it freaked him out and stuff. And, what Lex did I thought was really cool, how they had it, because of course the whole time, I thought, with everything he was trying to do and get all this information with the files and everything like that, I of course thought that's what he was getting. He was trying to get the security footage, and then we find out at the end that he's actually getting footage of this guy's daughter to let him know like she's okay and to help him kind of get out the building so the people can actually destroy it. But I thought that was really cool. It was very surprising because of course the whole time they're talking it's like, all right, we have to get in and do this. They forged the record, so it's like of course they're gonna get the footage, and that was like the whole thing. That was the whole point of the episode. And then, you know, with him being searched and the guy checking the video, it was a nice little surprise. I thought that was pretty cool. I would assume it wasn't hidden on there because otherwise the person would be like, okay, well I clicked this file, let me click this file, and then it's, you know, footage. So I'm assuming that that was the only video they had on there because he probably figured something weird was going to happen. So, you know, I thought that was interesting. I enjoyed that. That was pretty cool. Um, you know, the stuff with the actual gang inside the market, that went differently than I expected because I guess with it being such short episodes, they don't have time to go through, here's an episode of what Xander's going to decide to do, if he's going to tell them or not tell them. It's just like, hey, that guy's definitely sick. He hasn't come out in like 12 hours or whatever. The mom, who I hate, she's like number 3 person hated because it's like the 2 guys in the office with Jana, hate both of them, I mentioned last time. And then Teresa's mom I don't like. I mean, I know she's mad at both of them. It's like, you know, her daughter's too young to have the kid and stuff, but being mad at Xander because it's like the guy sneezed and he went in the room and didn't come out for 12 hours or something crazy because it was nighttime and it was clearly like the middle of the day. So it's like he went in there almost 12 hours ago and he hasn't come out. That's suspicious. And she's like, you don't know that for sure. And I'm like, why is she being mad at him? Like, just think about stuff. And then of course he opened the door and he's just like, oh well, he's dead, he's dying for sure. And we talks to the guy, he's like, look, you gotta get rid of him because he'll kill us all basically, or at least let me and Teresa go. And of course he turns around like that's not gonna happen. So, you know, he puts the guy down, boom, problem solved. But they still manage to escape, and it seemed nice, you know, they actually make it to Jana, who works with Sam to actually, well, he does all the work because he's the one who knows the building, but he does the work to kind of get the air rerouted to their floor so that they can actually cool down, because they don't have windows, because that's like their whole thing is with them being in that type of office building, they don't have windows that can open because that's the whole point of their contamination thing. So I was like, man, that's an odd situation. They'd have to get the air to work, otherwise they really would be trapped with nothing unless they, you know, found some fans or something. But I kind of like that. And we had a little moment with Sam and Jana, and she's like, you know, how do you know so much about the guy that they found dead? And he's like, well, he was wearing a t-shirt of a band I liked, and we just talked about a bunch of stuff. She's like, see, I was never really that good at, you know, good at small talk and getting to know people. So that was a cool little moment. They got to know each other, and ultimately Sam is let in, and so they officially break that rule. Then they do it again with both Xander and Teresa, or at least Teresa, because technically, I guess technically Sam wasn't let in because he was still sitting outside when Xander when he was talking to him. So I guess technically they didn't break the rule, and so they're both sitting outside. But you know, they definitely did let Teresa in with her being pregnant. So that was pretty cool. It's like, all right, they were able to make their escape. I just assumed that her mom would die. I didn't even think she'd show up. I thought it was just going to be like that was it and she was done. And I'm like, you know, whenever it's like, oh, I'll catch up with you guys, it's like, you're not that important of a character, clearly. So I just assumed she was going to die, and she might still die in the next episode because they're going to have to make some fairly tough choices. And it also seems like it's going to be kind of like all-out war. Like the next episode is the one before the finale, if I have kind of my numbers right. So the next episode should be pretty insane with the gang coming in to try and get them. They also have the tweakers coming back and trying to get in. So there's just a bunch of crazy fighting and stuff, and they have the phone from Mies. So, I mean, who knows how that's going to play out. I mean, they get the call out, and this is just in the promo, they get the call out to, well, Jana gets the call out once again to Lex, and it's like, you know, I need help, and then she screams, and the phone cuts off. So either he's going to go off the rails and jump in himself, or he's going to finally get something. You know, he'll finally have some proof, like, we need this to happen, and we need to send more people in, because we have, you know, we got the crazy hillbilly people, we have the gang, we have the tweakers who are all just on dirt bikes and stuff. A lot of kind of stereotypical villain stuff I mentioned. I guess that's sort of typical. Tweakers all on like quads and dirt bikes and stuff, which I also found a little weird because they're in Atlanta. I'm like, why do all these people have like four-wheelers and dirt bikes and stuff? Because they weren't like normal motorcycles. They were like BMX like dirt bikes and stuff. So I was like, it felt a little weird to me. I don't really know the landscape of Atlanta. There's probably something close by, I guess, but that was just a little weird to me. I didn't think about that really until this episode, like, because really we only saw the people on dirt bikes. I was like, you can have a dirt bike because it's just like a motorcycle basically. But when they came out with like all the four-wheelers and stuff, and I'm like, this just seems like really odd for like all these tweakers and stuff to just have dirt bikes and four-wheelers and stuff. It just seemed a little weird to me, but still enjoyed it. I'm definitely looking forward to the next episode based on the promos with the facility getting attacked and Jana and her crew probably having to leave because it seemed like they were like, there was one scene, it looked like they had like smoke bombs or something. It looked like smoke was about to come out of the vents. They had people trying to break through the floor and stuff. So if they can fight back, I know they will. They'll probably take out somebody here and there. But considering everything they went through, or are going to go through, based on the promo, I'm a little worried not everyone's going to make it. And I think it's going to be Teresa's mom that doesn't end up making it. Because if they're taking the time to try to break in, that clearly means they didn't make the deal like, hey, let us up and then we'll let her live. So they clearly chose not to do that. And that's why they all had to break in. And I'm assuming, once again, based on the trailer, that the gang actually does team up with the tweakers, but we don't necessarily know that. They put a bunch of clips together, and it's like, they can make it seem that way, but it's also a trailer. They could try to kill each other while still trying to get in and kill Jenna and the rest of her people. So, we'll just have to wait and see on that one, but I'm definitely excited for it, because we're supposed to only have 2 episodes left, I do believe, but definitely looking forward to the next one. Of course, definitely want to know what you guys thought about this one, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts, and we have like a crazy sort of cliffhanger ending, but I think the biggest thing in this episode is definitely the fact that we have a young boy who is seemingly immune to the cure. Like, it could just be that it takes longer to affect him or something like that, but he still has something that could help fight this really big virus. So I would love to know what you guys think about that. Like, is it going to stop everything? Is it not going to have any effect whatsoever? Is somehow his cure going to lead to the truth that Katie's been looking for? Like, who really was patient zero and all this other weird stuff that's going on, which they didn't really talk about too much in this episode, mostly because the Thomas thing came up, so it's like, well, let's, get out of the hospital. But I would love to know what you guys think that's going to do for the show. Like, will it stop the virus? Will it not? I believe this episode was actually day 7, so they still have quite a ways to go. And I don't know, maybe the episode premiering this week isn't going to be the last episode. Maybe it goes to 10, but last time I checked, which was probably, I think last week, like a little bit before the most recent episode aired, episode 7, it only showed 8 episodes, and I think that was like Wikipedia, so sometimes it's just updated as the episodes come out, so I don't really know how many episodes officially we have. I just saw that there are only going to be 8 from what I know. But we'd love to know what you guys think is going to happen with this cure or vaccine or both. And of course, I want to know what you guys thought about the episode in general, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.